Twisted, scheming betrayer.
Just how he'd describe himself, all according to plan.
Sayl is someone who should not be trusted by anyone. Stab, 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 stab.
Why bind yourself to a god when you can double down on yourself? If you can trick a demon, then a mortal's just as easy. And if they won't bend, break them. The lands and lords of Norsca are brutal and dangerous. But even further beyond the lands of Wind and Chill lies the Mountain's End, a chaotic place scarred by warring factions and the deceit of chaos sorcery. And one of these sorcerers, a schemer from the north, has made treachery his domain. Sayl the Faithless, a powerful spellcaster and master manipulator, has arrived from Mountain's End. A brand new section of map given to us by the Chaos Gods, probably due to Sayl's polite words. Nice one, Sayl. He's come forward with plans and motions that'd make even the most dedicated servants of Tzeentch look at him with concern. Whilst his sight is gone, his ambition remains, and his vision as a ruler is clearer than ever. The Great Bastion, one of the highest symbols of Cathay's order, has stood resolute against the forces of chaos. Both demon and man alike have failed to take down those walls, but Sayl's never been put off by a challenge. He'll bring it down, just you watch. But before we get to that, he's going to need to secure the lands around him. And now you've learned of our devious plans, viewer, you've fallen for our master gambit. Giving you more details. If you want to learn more about Norsca's rework and Sayl's faithless ways, then hey, check out the blog. As a master deceiver, he could always trick his way into the good books of the factions around him by using sweet words and empty promises. I mean, get a load of that reliable status. Look at him. Never told a lie in his life. It can't be forgotten though that out here, actions can reign supreme, and Sayl is no slouch. His bag of tea from spellcasters who've fallen before him more than prove this.
Playing as Sayl can be extremely interesting as he is a caster lord for Norsca. My favorite Sayl spell has got to be the Night Maul, as this nightmarish creature appearing on the battlefield and plowing to enemy lines can be quite a lot of fun, in a weird kind of way.
So while it's all well and good consolidating Mountain's End, Sayl will need more than a ragtag band of hairy warriors to thoroughly humiliate Gran Cathay, even if they're really up for it. Sure, we could slog it out and repeatedly butt our heads against the walls until they collapse, but that's just so common, so typical. Cathay's used to that. Let's do something their harmonious thoughts wouldn't think we'd do. Let's use our heads for mind games. I think it's high time we manipulated Cathay into a false sense of security. Manipulations are Sayl's key toy in undermining his opponents and getting one over before the fight even begins. These can be used to bolster our forces with quicker recruitment times, instant sums of spoils, and increasing our vision on the campaign map. But more importantly, they can be used to make our enemies' life harder. We can damage them, destroy their diplomatic contracts, force wars, take money from them. There's all manner of ways to play with our foes and make them dance to our tune. But the key one we're interested in is infiltrating them. The plan is to infiltrate and build small outposts in foreign slots along the Bastion, allowing us to toy with the Cathayans from the inside, which will surely crush their harmonic ideals as we advance to take the walls. We will, however, need to keep an eye on this, as the devotees of chaos will be watching. They're not a big fan of Sayl's "I do what I want" nature, and will strive to keep him in check as and when they need to. Now, if we want to unlock the greater manipulations available to us, we're going to need to build Chaos Altars. These buildings are pivotal to one of Sayl's victory conditions, the Dark Ritual.
Sayl's ultimate purpose is to perform a grand ritual in his constant strive for power. He achieves that through the construction of Chaos Altars. This also brings the attention of the Empire, Lizardmen, and the High Elves, which try to prevent him of achieving his ultimate goal.
With every altar constructed, Sayl gets one closer to completing the ritual, enabling him access to higher level manipulations. They can also improve campaign movement or gains achieved from looting. They can also allow recruitment of a limited number of Chaos Warriors and Chaos Spawns. You might have also seen that they grant spoils and be thinking to yourself, hey, hold on, that looks shiny and new, and we'll get there, don't you worry your little Norscan heart. So, we know what we need, but how are we going to do this? Well, Zitan's getting a little too close for comfort here, and buddy, I remember when I made the Drazov showcase. You took my chair when I needed it, and I haven't forgotten that. So Sayl's gonna take on Zitan's force, whilst we raise a new army to deal with what remains. Chaos Dwarfs aren't exactly the easiest of foes, which is why we need one of our best guys for the job. And who better than a great Shaman Sorcerer? Our Sorcerer is going to take the battle to the Granite Spikes and then go further beyond, to the Greenskin armies and all those past the spiky hills, building Chaos Altars in some locations, and sacking, pillaging, and razing everywhere else to help us build up our spoils, a new Norscan resource. I told you we'd come back to them. So, we're not interested really in building an economy, or building a brand new home on new shores all the time. Sometimes we just want to burn things and take stuff, and you know what? We do like shiny things. We can use spoils to expedite building trees, purchase certain research options, or if we feel like it, we can spend them to build new homes in regions that aren't Norscan. Spoils, however, do come with a risk. If we want to use those spoils, we need to make sure that the army that spawns when we sack settlements can actually make it back to one of our provinces. I mean, we'll also lose some marauders as well, which, oh no, what a shame. Let's be honest, it's all about the ill-gotten gains. Whilst that's going on, Sayl's plans are going to take him on a little journey. See, Sayl might not be Norscan, but even he can be compelled by the will of the hunt. The Bloodshriek Chimera, the voice of the wastes, is in our midst, and to tame this monster wouldn't just make the Norscans realize who's top skin wolf around here, but it'd also be incredibly useful in our war on Cathay. We're going to need to beef up our forces before we take on a Chimera though. Ideally, we'll need some tough damage dealers, so we're going to build up our retinue of Marauder Bearmen, as well as building towards Famir forces. We'll be kept in check by our new hero unit, the Famir Noble.
The Famir Noble is a new monstrous hero that excels at fighting enemy infantry. It can buff up other Famir and monsters around him, and can be quite a danger on the battlefield.
So Sayl's off on his little journey, and might even consolidate more of the lands north of Cathay, should that be useful to us. With him on his hunt, and our great Shaman Sorcerer heading out west, I'd say this might be an ideal time for a montage, no?
Sayl, in comparison to other Norscan lords, is much more attuned to chaos. But not only. He is a capable spellcaster and also serves with diplomacy as much as he does with the sword.
So, we might have got a little ambitious here. In our expansion into the west, we might have taken Grimgor's glory, and we're looking like a mighty fine replacement trophy. Our sorcerer's army is pretty tough, but the forces of chaos have their eyes on us, so manipulations would be risky. We've made friends with Tamakan as well, but he's a little preoccupied right now, so we can't really rely on him. So we'll get our sorcerer to pull back to granite spikes and recoup before we try and stop Grimgor. And, good luck, buddy. I really have a feeling this won't go well. We need to do what we can to bolster our own forces in Sayl's army before we take the Chimera and be ready for whatever comes next. We're in a real hope for the best, realize we should plan for the worst because we've made enemies everywhere kind of deal. This isn't going according to plan. So we're staring down the barrel of our own actions. Our altars we spent time building have mostly been reduced to dust by Grimgor and his boys. He's also proving to be quite the unstoppable force, but now we have a Chimera on our side, and other forces have come to join us. So we're just going to hit one final manipulation to give ourselves a greater demon. I mean, it's just one little greater manipulation, right? How bad can it be? Well, matters might be bad, but Sayl's not going down without a fight. Grimgor might think he's the biggest dog in the yard, but let's show him what happens when you mess with the most treacherous sorcerer this side of the Bastion. Taking down Grimgor's army is a pretty tall order, but thankfully we've got a very tall fella. And also a very angry, hairy fella.
The Runecaller is a variant of the Cursed Add-in, where not only it has two heads and two different personalities, it can also cast spells. That means a giant that can cast spells. Bjorkbearstruck is a formidable legendary hero who is the leader of the Bearmen and is one of the toughest when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. He can stay and keep those lines for a very long time while buffing up friendly marauders around him.
That Doomdiver catapult that took out our Great Shaman Sorcerer is still here, but I don't think they were accounting for us having a Chimera, so let's turn up the heat a little bit.
The Chimera is a single entity monster that is best utilized against enemy infantry. It has several different heads that can be quite dangerous, and you do not want to be standing in front of any one of them.
Now that we've sown a little chaos in their artillery, let's keep up the dreadful portents for their missile line.
The Dreadmaw is a new unique type of monster that doesn't really move around the battlefield in a normal way. It can burrow under the ground and then burst out in a targeted location, whether that be behind enemy lines or fortifications. It can spit out venom. It's awesome.
Even with our reinforcements coming in, this battle is turning a little bloody, but we're starting to make Grimgor regret his choices. So Grimgor's living up to his name, and the Chaos Gods have come to collect, and our altars are in ruins. This machination isn't working. We're gonna need to rethink this. But if you think this means that Sayl's ways will change, then you couldn't be more mistaken. Sayl will try again, and again, and again if needs be. For there's always another scheme at hand, another leader to corrupt, and another demon to bind. He will have his way. Just like how you'll leave your thoughts in the comments and wishlist now, if you fancy.